What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we are going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and we're going to cover an old Marvel event. This is the opposite of Maximum Carnage. This is Minimum Carnage. This was a 6-part storyline that took place in Scarlet Spider and Agent Venom comics. And basically, it's Carnage going into a whole new universe to cause havoc. So, if you do like today's comic book video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. But I do hope you enjoy today's video. Now, the opening of this book lets us know that right off the bat that Cletus Cassidy was being transported to a prison. Of course, things did not go as planned. Because who Cletus Cassidy is? Well, the next page we see that it has been 3 hours and Carnage has broken out of prison somehow. We learn this because we get Agent Venom coming by 3 hours after Cletus Cassidy has broken out. Of course, Carnage is already gone. Also, if you are wondering who Venom is at this point, well, it is Flash Thompson, the old high school bully of Peter Parker. He worked for the government in a way, but he came to see if it is true that Carnage got out. So you have Flash Thompson trying to be a detective and trying to figure out how it was possible that Cletus Cassidy got out and where did he go? Because he has to be stopped very soon. That leads into Flash Thompson finding another room where some of the staff members hid from the attack of Carnage, only for Agent Venom to see that they have the footage of the breakout, except all they can see is something killing the guards off. But what killed the guards can't be seen on cameras, so it has to be something invisible or really small. We did get a quick glimpse of what it's like to have Carnage back out in the world again, where we see that the city of Houston is trying to keep the area secure, hoping that one of the many officers will catch him. Except these guards are not equipped to deal with something like Carnage. So of course, when they do find him, well, he kills them off real quickly. But shifting the focus back on Agent Venom, we see him still looking over the footage and sees that there were some small creatures that broke Carnage out of prison. Now the question is now, where did they come from and why? Now Agent Venom calls up Katie Kyman, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, who may have information on where those small creatures came from. She sends Agent Venom a text about an article reporting a scientist making something called the Prometheus Pit. Something very special about this pit, and Agent Venom is going to go there. We then pick up with Scarlet Spider, who at this point in Marvel Comics is Kane. Kane is the clone of Peter Parker that came out of the Clone Saga in the 1990s. Either way, at this point in Marvel Comics, he's trying to be a good guy. So he moved to Houston, Texas, of all places, and became the Scarlet Spider of the city. When we pick up with him, he is just doing his superhero work with saving an innocent man from a burning building. Except when he gets in there, this guy is freaking out because he saw something so scary and crazy, he is scared out of his mind, and Scarlet Spider had a hard time getting him out. This is where we learn that he watched his mother-in-law get killed. She was killed in such a horrific way that it traumatized him to the point he had to be sedated. We learned that his name is Ryan Cotola, and that name is going to be important here in the next section. But you have Scarlet Spider say that he has to find this man's wife. Now, this is why I said the man's wife is going to be very important, because we pick up with his wife, Dr. Cotola, being interviewed by Katie, the person Agent Venom got information from earlier. Katie is trying to learn more about this Prometheus Pit project that is going on here. Except before they can talk more about it, that is when Carnage appears out of nowhere. Lucky for the ladies that Scarlet Spider was nearby and he pops out to save them from Carnage. Now this is not the first time these two have met each other. They have met multiple times over the years of Marvel Comics. Either way, this fight does get pretty intense between the two of them. Something I do want to point out is that the Scarlet Spider is not like Peter Parker. He is okay with the idea of killing someone if it is needed. To him, right now, Carnage needs to die for everything he has done. Here comes the next big problem though for Scarlet Spider. Out of nowhere, he is struck by lightning, and we see that some random people have appeared and they are working with Carnage, and they need to use Dr. Katola's new device to get them somewhere else. Now, we don't know what it completely does just yet. All we know is that it teleports Carnage and his new friends and takes Katie with him as well. Now, where he goes is unknown, but he does go somewhere else. He does mention that the project will take them to a completely new universe. That is when we see them all leave. Scarlet Spider was just a second too late to stop them, or even possibly being teleported with Carnage and all of his new friends. Except right after everything has calmed down, Agent Venom appears and wants to know what is going on here. Now, Scarlet Spider knows about Venom too. They had some run-in over the years of Marvel Comics. Scarlet Witch is angry that Carnage, someone so powerful and dangerous, is out in the city of Houston, which you have Agent Venom tell him that of course because Carnage broke out of his prison cells. This leads into them kind of agreeing to work together to chase down Carnage and hopefully bring him back in before he kills a bunch of people. Except this is the moment where you have Flash Thompson lose control of the Venom suit, letting you guys know that Flash Thompson has to use a lot of willpower to control the Venom suit, because if he doesn't, the suit will go back to its savage mindset it had. Also, I think the American government also put some kind of chemical that helps Flash Thompson control the Venom suit. So with that being said, it leads into Venom of course attacking Scarlet Spider at this moment. Honestly, this is just a moment to see the two heroes of the book fight against each other. Also to remind us that Flash Thompson has to do a lot of different things to keep the suit from going out of control and going around killing people left and right. Luckily, he does get the symbiote suit under control again, but the problem is that Scarlet Spider is wondering if he can trust Flash Thompson again. Now, after their fight, you have them both realize that Dr. Katola is alive, and this is where she explains her project, how it leads into the Microverse. It's a subatomic universe that lives inside the main Marvel universe. It's a universe basically in the pocket of another universe. Now, Agent Venom is down to go after Carnage and stop him, but Scarlet Spider's like, nah. Why would I go into the Microverse where I might not come back from? Which of course leads into us seeing Carnage in the Microverse with his new friends and Katie as well. Now we get this scene where at first it seems that Carnage is just going to hold on to Katie as a hostage, but he does have deeper meaning here. He wants her to see the outcome of this adventure, but we see that Carnage's new friends brought him here because he is the best killer of the main Marvel universe. Now back in the Macroverse, or the main Marvel universe, we see Venom is about to jump into the pit to get teleported into the Microverse. Except before he goes, you have Scarlet Spider tell Agent Venom that he is coming and they leave. Of course, with them being teleported into a different dimension, they of course get separated from each other, where Agent Venom is attacked by some fairies. Literally, some fairies. Except these fairies are stopped by, guys, I'm going to butcher this name so bad. Please forgive me. Arcturus Rand, who tells Agent Venom that they are the Enigma Force. I'm not going to sit here and explain the whole Enigma Force thing. I'm just going to tell you now that these guys are kind of like the Guardians of the Universe in a way, but in the Microverse, but actually protect the universe from dying. Either way, their leader, Rand, tells Agent Venom that their boss, the Redeemer, needs his help to save the Microverse. For Scarlet Spider, he wakes up and he's confronted by some random person in bandages, where this guy is literally talking like he is the Yoda of the Marvel Comics universe. Before Scarlet Spider can say anything about this guy warns Scarlet Spider about the fact that they're about to be attacked by some kind of random monster, which of course is a huge, big monster. Now you have the new friends of Carnage taking them to the Annax station, and this is a station where there are a bunch of robots that have human flesh, but underneath it, of course, it is just metal. Now apparently they are going to use Carnage to help to make these robots better. How is the big question, but we are going to find out soon enough. Also, they brought him here to kill off the Redeemer as well, which we still have no idea who that is at this moment. Now, changing the focus back on Agent Venom, who is hanging out with the Enigma Force in their spaceship. Now, this is where we get some hints that there is something important with Agent Venom being here. That the suit can do some strange things in the Microverse, and they are afraid that the Venom suit could actually kill the entire Microverse if it is possible. Except before they are able to discuss more about if they should get rid of Venom or not, Agent Venom and the Enigma Force are attacked by an unknown force. Now, Scarlet Spider is still dealing with the monster we saw him dealing with earlier. Honestly, this is just Scarlet Spider showing us how dangerous it can be for someone coming from the main Marvel universe. That the creature here, of course, not your usual monster that a hero would face in the Macroverse. This fight does not last that long, really only lasts about 3 to 4 pages, and that is it. Now, after he deals with the monster, that is when we learn that the guy who was talking like he was the Marvel Comics version of Yoda is the Redeemer. The person that everyone else except the Scarlet Witch is looking for. Not Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Spider, my bad. Also, he is a healer and he heals up the Scarlet Spider. Remember that the people who helped Carnage to break out of prison wants Carnage to kill the Redeemer, except when we shift our focus back to him and come to see that Carnage had killed everyone who was with him except Katie. So the people that helped Carnage break out of prison are all dead, which is expected because this is Carnage, who is mentally unstable. They even knew that this man was not mentally stable at all. So we see that his goal now is to kill the Redeemer, but to also kill off the person who was bossing around the people that broke Carnage out of prison. Now, getting back to Venom and the Enigma Force, we see them struggling right now against this force who belongs to whoever, except this is the moment things begin to get worse for Agent Venom and the Enigma Force. The reason why I say this is because in the middle of the fight, that is when Flash Thompson loses control of the suit. Remember that it takes a lot of willpower for Flash Thompson to be able to control the Venom suit, except he lost control at the moment he was helping out the Enigma Force. For the most part, most of the members think that this could possibly prove that he is not a good guy. This is where we learn who is the big bad guy of this story that is trying to use Carnage for their own needs. His name is Marcus Radu, and the Redeemer is here hoping to heal Radu, because this war that he and Radu are in at the moment, that it could lead to the end of the Microverse completely. Before Redeemer is able to explain more about why Carnage and Venom being here is a bad idea, that is when Carnage does appear to kill the Redeemer. Now remember what I said earlier, that Scarlet Spider, which of course is Kane, is different from Peter Parker. What I mean by that is Kane is okay with killing someone off to save thousands of lives. So we have Scarlet Spider actually thinking about killing Carnage, which honestly, he is thinking about all the people Carnage has killed and could have killed. So we are getting this brutal fight where Carnage is down to kill the Scarlet Spider as well. So we have two people who are down to killing each other and blood flying everywhere. Getting back to Agent Venom, we see that Flash Thompson is still having a hard time controlling the symbiote suit. This is the moment that he tells us that something is different when it comes to the suit. That something about the suit being here is making it hard for Flash Thompson to control it. Meaning that maybe there is some kind of connection with the suit or some past connection with the suit with the Microverse. The question is, what is the true connection? Also, that we have gotten references that say to the people of the Microverse, Venom can wipe out the entire Microverse. Now, once Flash Thompson gets the suit under control, that is when the forces of this mysterious group are able to attack the ship and grab Agent Venom and the Enigma Force. Getting back to the big fight between Carnage and the Scarlet Spider, the battle is getting bloody just like we expected. Not dramatically bloody, but it's getting pretty brutal between the two of them. Now Katie is here as well because she was being held hostage by Carnage. Redeemer is there as well because, well, he was with the Scarlet Spider. Now, there is a point where Scarlet Spider could actually kill off Carnage at this moment, except since the Redeemer is about to fall off a cliff, Scarlet Spider has to stop from killing Carnage to save the Redeemer's life, and they both fall off the cliff, which then, of course, Marcus Radu forces appear as well to grab Carnage because Carnage was brought here to the Microverse for a specific reason. So we skip over to the base of the Marcus Radu, and this is the moment where we finally get the reveal of Marcus Radu. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Who looks pretty strong just by his appearance. Like he's mysterious but gives off the vibe that he is super strong. But this is also the moment where you have Carnage try to kill the Marcus Radu, thinking that he will be able to. This is the best moment of the whole book because you have Marcus Radu just throw Carnage to the ground in about 3 seconds and shows how strong he is. Tells his guards to take Carnage away as a prisoner. Now this is the moment where we learn that Marcus Radu's big plan is, which is him wanting to use the symbiotes to kill off this universe. That a long time ago, symbiotes had arrived in the Microverse universe, except they were technically a poison to this universe, and I mean literally. Their presence begins the process of breaking down this universe at a fast rate. Marcus Radu is doing this to become a god basically. Kill off this universe will make him a god in a way. Getting back to Scarlet Spider, we see that he and the Redeemer has survived the fall from the cliff. Now this is big because Scarlet Spider doesn't know something very important. Marcus wants to kill off the Microverse to make it seem like he is a god. Then go into the Microverse to make it seem that he is a god over there. But Redeemer says that if the Microverse dies, well, the main Marvel Universe dies as well. Also remember how I talk about the armies of robots that look human, like they have human flesh. Well, Marcus Radu is going to use the Venom and Carnage suits to spread their suits on the robots, basically making many Venoms and Carnage to run around the world, the Microverse, the main Marvel Universe actually. Now the opening of the next chapter gives us the moment you have Venom and Carnage both being used to create this small army of robots that will have their own symbiote suits on them. Remember, with Venom and Carnage being here, everything they touch dies. So we see that the machine that is holding Venom and Carnage begins to fall apart because they are touching Venom and Carnage. Also, the small little army that is being made right now are also falling apart, but their body parts are being covered by new symbiotes. the big twist of this moment is that Carnage is able to control all these new smaller versions of Venom and Carnage, which of course he can turn them against Agent Venom. There's a page where the Enigma Force and Katie are able to break out of prison that the Marcus Radu had them locked in. Honestly, just to show they are still on the table to help stop Carnage down the road. But now we can jump back over to Carnage and his army of mini symbiotes as they are beating down on Agent Venom, which should be expected since there's an army of symbiotes going up against Venom, a one-man army. Sooner or later, Venom would have to admit to himself that there are way too many of them for him to handle. It does get to the point where it seems that Agent Venom is going to die by the hands of Carnage and the army of the symbiotes. Except that is the moment you have Scarlet Spider appear, and of course he is so down to kill Carnage. The man walks in screaming in a way stating that he wants to kill Carnage today, and that is his final choice on how to deal with Carnage. Now, at the same time Scarlet Spider is dealing with Carnage, we jump back to the Enigma Force, who are trying to get their chance to kill off Marcus Radu. Except when they make it to the room he is in, well, this is the moment we see that Carnage has sent many symbiotes all over the place, meaning that he sent them to kill everyone in this place. Now, Radu is too powerful to die or to be killed by these little creatures. You have the Enigma Force mention that this is what he actually wanted. He wanted this chaos because he said the Microverse is just a universe of chaos, that all of this was his plan. He is happy what he is seeing at this moment. Getting back to Agent Venom and Scarlet Spider, who are dealing with Carnage, we do learn that the Redeemer is here. And remember that he is the Enigma Force boss, basically. But also he was with Scarlet Spider in the last chapter, so him being here makes sense. But this is the moment you have him tell Agent Venom that he is the one who can stop all of this, which makes sense because remember that these many symbiotes were made out of Carnage and Venom. So if Carnage is able to control them, maybe Agent Venom is able to get rid of them. That leads into Agent Venom tapping into the ability to control these guys or get rid of them. Now earlier, Carnage was badly beaten down by Venom and Scarlet Spider, so he escaped by shrinking down. The question is now, where did Carnage go to now? On the last page of this chapter, we see that Carnage used a connection between the Microverse and the Macroverse to take him and his army of the symbiotes into the main Marvel universe. So even though the Microverse is saved, the main Marvel universe is now in trouble, and our heroes need to get up there to stop him. Now we see that in the final chapter opening, Carnage has completed the task of coming back into the main Marvel universe now, and being able to bring the army of the symbiotes with him as well, which of course he goes back to Houston, Texas, because that is the home location where Scarlet Spider chose to work out of after leaving New York. We see Carnage and his army of symbiotes already starting the process of killing people off. Our heroes are still stuck in the Microverse, dealing with how are they going to get back to the main Marvel universe, because they need to get back to just go home, but also stop Carnage. Luckily for Agent Venom and Scarlet Spider, they are actually able to get back with an ease. There is some kind of space wall between the two universes that has a weak point, meaning that it is the easiest part and the best time for them to cross over and get back home, which they do. This even includes Katie, the reporter that got dragged into this mess thanks to Carnage. Here comes the mess up part though. With them being able to travel back into the main Marvel universe, see, when they get back, they realize that they are not the right size like they should be. Some items around them that they should be able to grab in their hands are bigger than them. They have to wait until their bodies actually grow back to the right size they need to be in this universe. Of course, that leads into the moment they get confronted by Carnage that did not shrink down in size. He is normal size, which of course means that it makes it easier for Carnage to kill them. Matter of fact, after a while, this fight doesn't last that long, and you have Carnage being able to grab both Agent Venom and Scarlet Spider, where it seems they are going to die here at this moment. It doesn't take long for their bodies to grow back to the right size, but also doesn't take long for this fight to end. It's the last chapter, meaning that we need to wrap this up now and move on with the book. Now, how does this fight end? Well, see, the Enigma Force gave Agent Venom some sonic weapons that of course was the weakness to symbiotes at this point in Marvel Comics. So when they use it on Cletus Cassidy, well, he was defeated. They were able to win the battle, except there is one more thing I have been mentioning over and over again in this story. Remember that Scarlet Spider wanted to kill Cletus Cassidy. He did not want to give the chance that Cletus Cassidy to come back to life. So we see that Scarlet Spider pulls out one of his stingers and actually stabs Cletus Cassidy. Now, this doesn't kill him, but the way Agent Venom acts here, it seems that maybe Scarlet Spider did kill him, and this could be the end of Carnage. Of course, we know Marvel won't let Carnage go away for too long. Literally, the next page tells us that he is not dead. The stinger of Scarlet Spider actually just made Cletus Cassidy brain dead, but the symbiote is now in control of the body. So the new prison Carnage is in, the prison staff had the symbiote sedated to keep it from coming out. And this is where we are going to end today's video. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's video.